Ron isn't going to run. Republican Ron Paul saying that he's not running for Congress again, but he is ramping up his presidential campaign. And he's raking in big bucks in campaign cash. Look at that, $4.5 million. In his first interview since the big announcement, Ron Paul joins us exclusively. Representative Paul, congratulations. First of all, are you sensing that this opportunity, and you know, forgetting about age and everything else, but this opportunity with the Republicans right now, that everyone's saying there's no fire, no one's really enthusiastic about the candidates, and yet we know that your core followers are amongst the most ardent out there. So are you really sensing that this is your moment to really go for it?
Well, I don't think it in that much of a personal terms as much as this is the moment for this country to do something different, and I offer something different, obviously, because I see the other candidates as all representing the status quo and not wanting any significant changes in our foreign policy or changes in our monetary policy and addressing the Federal Reserve or even addressing the entitlement system. And I'm also very keen on defending personal liberties and attacking the TSA and some of these other things. So the moment is here for that. The American people are sick and tired of it all. They got sick and tired last year, and we're complaining about the spending and the deficit. But I've also been saying that if the American people are complacent enough and they can accept that what is happening out in the open at the airports with federal agents poking and prodding and x-raying us and think nothing of it, then we're in big trouble. We're in serious financial trouble, but we're in serious trouble otherwise if we're that complacent.
Right, Representative Paul. So essentially what you probably consider yourself doing then is leading something akin to a second revolution, because we're talking about personal liberties. Everyone's talking about the Constitution now, although I think you were the first to talk about it. Everyone's talking about reeling in the Federal Reserve, although you were the first to talk about it. A lot of things that everyone's talking about now, you were a pioneer of, and maybe you're the only one who could take these issues and really, really put them through.
Well, I think everybody's convinced that I believe in it because, you know, for many, many years I voted that way, and sometimes it was by myself. So I'm delighted to have the support, and I'm delighted that the other candidates now are starting to talk this way because they know the electorate is waking up. They're waking up to the fact that they do want some of these changes as well. So, yes, I think it's a tremendous opportunity, and I can compare what we're doing now to 4 years ago. There's a significant difference. You know, the fundraising is easier, the volunteers are easier, and we always had loyal support, but the one thing the polls are showing that if we get a commitment, we have a commitment, where others who say, yeah, I sort of like that candidate, but it might last a week or two, and then somebody else comes on the scene, I sort of like that candidate. But we know that our support is very, very solid, and they will work and donate, and our numbers are growing, so I consider that to be an optimistic sign.
Representative Paul, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about this current debt fight. You know, for a moment there, it looked like some sort of a deal might have been cobbled together, and now Republicans are, I don't know, maybe they're drawing a line in the sand, but the rhetoric is outrageous. Harry Reid's calling for a stock market crash. Mitch McConnell putting out a plan today that I still don't understand. Where do you stand with this whole thing, and what do you think the result's going to be?
Well, I think the results will be that the spending will continue and that the debt limit will be raised. There'll be enough fear built up into the minds of everybody that if we don't, there'll be a serious repercussion. But my argument is that if we continue to spend, the repercussion is going to be much, much worse. And I think we're seeing the signs of what I've been concerned about for so long. I was concerned about the financial bubble that finally burst.
Right.
But I think the next shoe to fall will be a dollar bond crisis, because I think bonds are way overpriced, interest rates are way too low, and that everything is based on the dollar right now. And the world economy has been dependent, but people are gradually weaning themselves off from dollars, and they're also spending dollars more, so prices are going up. And there's no way they can stop it when the prices start rising. And we see this inflation that is coming, and therefore I see that as the greatest crisis on the horizon.
Before I let you go, this deal that you eventually see going through, does that mean it's going to include tax hikes? Do you think a deal can get through that includes tax hikes?
I don't know what the format will be, but there'll be a lot of promises. But while I can't trust the promises, I've been around long enough to realize that the only thing that counts is this year. So I think they'll have a promise to have a balanced budget amendment, a balance to cut some spending, and maybe to close some loopholes, and they won't call them tax hikes. But they'll finally get to the pressure of doing it. But quite frankly, the only thing that we should be concerned about is this year.
Right.
If the Congress realized how serious this was, they would have across-the-board cuts, thinking that the deficit spending is so bad that we should come together and cut everything.
Representative Ron Paul, good luck on your presidential run. We really appreciate your time this afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Returning a milestone.